you will. Check, check. Move around, see if it catches anything.
Oh, am I supposed to be checking?
Yeah, your turn. Yeah, go ahead.
Check, 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 check.
Are you a crash
Check.
test dummy?
No, just
Check.
I'm moving around. You said to move around.
You did good, honey. Hey, everybody.
What's poppin'?
That's my thing. Anyway, so since we are new to this whole vlogging thing, we thought it would be really cool to sit down and just do a little Q&A so you guys can get to know us a little bit. So I posted some questions, or actually I gave you the opportunity to ask some questions on my Instagram, and we have some pretty good ones. Now, I did not do all the questions, but I did do a good amount of them. So are you ready for the world to know Emily and Goulet?
No.
Okay, I didn't think so. But we're going to do this anyway, so let's get started. Okay, question number 1. How long do you typically let your hair grow out before you cut it?
I never cut it.
My hair, I've been growing it out for a year and a half now. My son is he 18 or 19 months now?
18 months.
So I've only had one haircut since he's been born. Like, he's always known daddy with long hair. And so this is like my 3rd or 4th time growing it out, but I want to say it's been 15-ish months or so. Honestly, I don't know how long I'm going to let it go for, but I do know I want to donate it to, I found a cool organization that actually takes hair for kids that can't grow hair, kids cancer patients that can't grow hair. So I'm going to donate it to them whenever I do decide to cut it. So
What's the name of it?
I'll post a link below because I cannot remember off the top of my head. I have it wrote down on my phone. So, but yeah, that's it. I don't know when I'm going to cut my hair, but it's been a minute. What is Oki's favorite toy right now? I mean, he only has like 1 or 2 million to choose from. Which one do you think it is?
The Superman.
Okay, yeah.
We got it as a shower gift. I'm sorry, I can't remember who got it for him in particular, but I know it was the one that Harrison's school district
that's right.
provided.
Emily got a big shower from the school, and yeah, I guess we got that there. For some reason I thought I'd won that in a vending machine, but maybe that's just wishful thinking because I love those little claw vending machines.
You're pretty good at it.
I am pretty good at it.
You won me 2 wallets.
I have.
Kate Spade.
I'm no longer allowed at the Branson claw machine arcade thing because I keep taking all their stuff. This says, not really a question, but I just wanted to say I miss y'all and hope you're doing well. This question actually came from one of our old youth students, so we just want to say love you, miss you too, hope all things are swell. Why are you the way that you are?
I ask that every day.
All our Office fans, you guys are real ones. You know the question.
Why are you the way that you are?
What is Oki's favorite Bible verse? So he's so young right now, he doesn't really have a favorite Bible verse per se. But I do know that the one he's probably heard the most, it's in Numbers 6. But it's the verse that says, may the Lord bless you, may the Lord keep you, may the Lord shine his face upon you and be gracious to you. And we prayed that over him. Like, as soon as we found out Emily was pregnant, we began to pray that over Emmett. And so when he first came into the world, like when we were in the hospital, that was the first prayer we ever prayed over him. And we've tried to pray that over him every single night. And so that's probably the one he's heard the most, but in time he'll probably have a favorite one. But for now, I guess that's his unspoken favorite. So this question says, how does it feel to have biceps as large as nacho cheese cans? Clearly this question is for you, babe.
Well, you know, it starts by,
It's 2, huh?
yeah, going for tone, not bulk.
Impressive. So a more serious question, what was your life like before you gave your life to Jesus? So I got saved in September. It will be 13 years actually, which is crazy to think about, but growing up, junior high and high school, I'd always heard of the name of Jesus, but I didn't really understand what it meant to have a relationship with him. You know, my papa was a preacher, and, we went to church as a kid, and but I never really grasped what that meant. And we kind of stopped going when I got into junior high and high school. And really what I was like, the truth is, I was really good at lying. I was really good at being manipulative. I only cared really about me, what I could get out of life. I cussed a lot. I partied a lot. I did all these things that honestly, it's funny. We make the joke now, like we always say, if Emily's parents would have known me in high school, she would never have been allowed to even talk to me, never let her date me. But I basically, to make a long story short, I gave in to every temptation the world threw at me, and I gladly accepted it and welcomed it. And I was really good at putting on a facade and hiding it from my family and loved ones. I can honestly say my best day, my worst day with Christ is so much greater than my best day without him. Like, it's not even close. And in knowing Jesus and having this relationship with him, I have purpose. I know whose I am. I know that there is a higher calling on my life. And now I'm living my life to try and point people towards him with all we do, which is one of the many reasons we're doing this vlog channel and doing a family vlog, is so we can show people like this is what a family that honors Christ does. Tell you what though, I'll actually in the future make a testimony video on here going into a little bit more explanation about my story. But yeah, that's kind of in a nutshell my testimony, if you will. But I was not a good dude. I was definitely not a good dude. I was very good at hiding that from people. But you pretty much grew up in church your whole life though, whereas I didn't really have a relationship with Jesus. You've had one your whole life. So
Yeah.
That's pretty cool. That's special.
Yeah, I really don't remember a time not having that relationship. It has definitely developed over the years and matured, but as far as like a specific date, I don't really have a specific date.
And if you're out there and you're one that says, well, I don't have a testimony because like Emily, I just grew up in church. Let me tell you, that is a testimony. The fact that I look up to my wife because she held firm her beliefs so much that she didn't compromise them when she was in junior high, high school, and even early on in college like I did, because you knew better. Like, you had that foundation and you knew that the temptations of the world are not even close to being able to offer you what a walk with Christ does. And to me, that's a testimony in itself. So if you're like my wife and is one like, well, I grew up in church, I don't have a testimony, you do. And it's one that people like me that do have more of a troubled story, if you will, do like truly appreciate. So you do have a story and you do have a testimony, and it is absolutely beautiful. What is your favorite Bible story? So honestly, this one's tough because I've read the Bible through a couple times and I just love all of it. I would say outside of the Gospels, I love the story of Samson because I am a super nerd and I love superheroes. And to me, it's like with Samson, you get like the hair of Thor, you get the strength of Superman, and you get like the attitude, if you like listen to how Samson like acts and talks, of Tony Stark, Iron Man. So it's like, I don't know, just something about his story that I find dope. I just love it. I love it. It's probably one of my favorites other than the Gospels.
Well, we've been watching The Chosen.
So good. If you've not watched it, go watch it. It'll rock you.
And it's been putting like a new light on certain biblical events.
Yeah.
But I guess if you were to say Old Testament, I always go back to Genesis. I love the beginning, and I always try to reread it to see if there's some other thing that I missed. But I like learning about the beginning and trying to find extra things that I missed.
Yeah. It's cool because you can read the Bible so many times through, and it's like you take something different away every time. I think I've read through the entirety of the Bible probably twice, working on my third right now. And I've taken something different away from these stories. Some of them I've read dozens of times, and it's like you take something different away. I think that's just the nature of our God. Like, you will spend your entire life learning something new about him. There's a really cool verse in the Bible where it says that the angels worship him and they cry, holy, 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 every day. And I've always wondered, like, why do they do that? Because honestly, like, does that not get monotonous after a while? But I begin to think maybe it's because God is showing them a new aspect of who he is to them. And that's why they're doing that over and over again. And so I don't know. And I feel like in life, in 13 years, I continue to learn more about God each and every day. How did you and Emily meet? And how did you even get her to go out with you? I'm still trying to figure that one out. You always hear people talk about that get married, like husbands say, you know, I out-punted my coverage. No, I really did. Like, this is my favorite blessing, along with my son, that God has ever allowed me to have in my wife. Like, she's the best person I know, and I'm not just saying that. Like, I shared some of my story, and to have a wife like Emily, who is amazing in every way, I'm blessed. I'm blessed. I'll just say that.
We met at a church function. Your best friend now didn't like you at first.
Go watch the Bless
because of
Up
that.
podcast. That is, we talk about that. Yeah. He thought I was a tool because I was hitting on this girl after he had never met me before. He's like, oh, just coming in here hitting on Emily.
Look at this tool over here.
But no, we met at a friend's house, and our church college group was hosting just a get together, and through a mutual friend, just got to know each other.
So actually, it's funny. The person who introduced Emily and I is actually the same person who led me to Christ, and he actually invited both of us there. And yeah, I just felt bad for everybody else there, because it was just her and I, to be honest with you. Like, people always say, when you know, but it's true, because again, it was just us in the room, which is probably why, again, TK thought I was a tool. And you can go watch the Bless Up podcast episode 1 where he goes into detail about that.
Look at this tool over here.
But yeah, here we are, still going strong. Okay, this is a good one. So what are tips for dating, and how did you guys grow together before marriage? So I always tell people, if I could talk to young people about anything not other than Jesus, it would be courting and dating and worship. Like, I love those topics to talk on the most. And I think the reason I like talking about dating so much is because I did the dating thing the wrong way for so long, and when I did it Christ's way, well, I'm still in that relationship the one time I did. And you know, if I could offer a piece of advice, it would be to always love Jesus more than you love your spouse. When you do that, you're never fighting for position, because that's always going to be Christ. And I think we both solidified that in our hearts before we ever met one another. Like, Christ is number one. Like, I was a very new believer when we met, like less than a year saved. Emily, you know, coming off a really bad relationship said, you know, I'm going to give you my heart first, God. And I actually prayed the same thing. Like, God, I've done things wrong for so long. I'm going to give you my heart. And we didn't realize till later we'd both prayed the exact same prayer. And I think if you make that mindset, like, I'm going to put you first, God, then God's going to honor that. He knows the desires of your heart. And if you're seeking and improving that relationship with Him, all other relationships just kind of fall into play. And as far as guidelines go, set boundaries. Set boundaries. Girlfriends and boyfriends should not be getting husband and wife benefits. And I understand now, doing things the right way with Emily, why God tells us, like, look, when it comes to marriage, do things this way. And I can honestly say, waiting until marriage to do certain things, there is an enrichment that comes from that but sincerely does, because Christ knows a lot better than we do. And so I can honestly say, from doing things the wrong way for so long and doing things the right way and what Christ tells us to do, it is a beautiful, beautiful thing. And so setting boundaries and continuing to put Christ first. And, you know, people ask us all the time, like, how do you guys make it work? And my answer is simple. We both love Jesus more than we love one another. And in that, there's an overflow that comes from our hearts towards one another. And so, yeah, I'm very passionate about this topic, but that in a nutshell is kind of my short answer to that.
Well, I always prayed for my future husband started that when I was young, and parents encouraged that.
Yeah.
So that, you know, obviously helped. And I think just being on the same page, you know, about what your intentions are.
Yeah, that's good.
Before going into a relationship. If your intentions aren't to get married, then
You're just wasting each other's time. You're wasting each other's time.
But yeah, just being on the same page,
Yeah.
having those boundaries, but both parties on board with that.
Yeah,
But definitely putting God first, both parties putting God first.
absolutely.
Getting those priorities straight. As far as marriage goes, again, keeping God first, and praying for each other.
If you're not praying for one another while you're dating, what makes you think you're going to do it when you're married? And honestly, I don't know why people make it out to be an awkward thing at first, but I think when we first started praying with one another, there was a intimacy that went far beyond like what physical intimacy is, but being able to join together and pray, seeking our Heavenly Father together, there's something special and uniting in that I think brought us close before we ever got married. And it became a practice that we continued on when we got married. And now that we have a son, we pray with him. We want to create a culture in the Gou-Crew crib that is solidified in prayer and based in prayer. You need to put good practices into play now that you want into your marriage, but at the same time, keep those boundaries in play until marriage. And so, last piece of advice that I would personally give is you need to both a boyfriend and girlfriend need to have 3 groups of people that agree, okay? First off, you need to know that God approves the relationship, okay? If he does, then that's a good start. Secondly, your family. And that's a big one because if there's marriage intentions there, they're going to be your family too there. So the family should approve. And thirdly is like best friends and mentors, people that you actually value their opinion. Not every friend needs to have input when it comes to a big, decision in your life, like having a boyfriend or girlfriend that may lead to marriage. But like a mentor or someone that you know will be straightforward with you. Those are 3 groups of people that need to agree. And if any of those don't, you need to seriously ask some questions. Because I can honestly say, looking back in retrospect before I knew Christ, those 3 were not lined up in any relationship other than Emily. And when they did, everything just kind of began to flow naturally, right?
Well, again, it goes into that, putting God first, everything kind of aligns.
Yeah.
After that.
Maybe that's a simple way to put it. If you put God first, everything is naturally going to fall into play like it's supposed to, whether you're supposed to be together or not. But God will direct you. If you seek him, you'll find him. And so, yeah, that's the long-winded answer to that question. Then the last question, and this is a good one. And I'm really curious to hear your answer on this. But what is your favorite thing about one another? So I'll go first.
Because the list is long.
The list is so long, guys. Like when you got a dime piece like this, the list is just so long. Out of all the things, my favorite thing about Emily, it's kind of a tie if I'm being honest. I love her ability to worship and sing. Like that is her gifting. And one of the first things that drew me to her, besides her being just really hot, no, but she was, when I first heard her sing, I pretty much just gave her my heart and said, here, it's yours. But no, the way she uses her gift for the Lord, and not to bring any acknowledgement to herself, but to help usher people into the presence of God, and it be just so beautiful and sincere and authentic. I know that when she worshiped, that it makes the Lord smile. And I don't know, that's probably one of my favorite things about you. But the thing it'd be tied with, Emily is the hardest working person I know. Like Emily doesn't know how to take shortcuts because she's too much of a worrier.
I'm scared.
She thinks if she cuts any corners that it's going to be a negative thing, which in life it usually will be. But what I love about her is she works so hard at anything she does, whether it be you're working towards getting your master's degree right now, like you will stay up until midnight to make sure you go through every single sentence of a 10-page paper to make sure that it is perfect. Or if it's making dinner, you will follow the recipe to a T because you're afraid if you don't add just the right amount of salt, you're going to mess it up.
It's there for a reason.
It's there for a reason. But you see what I'm saying? Like for me, there's so much to love about my wife, but those are two things that stand out about her, is the way she worships and the way that she works so hard. Hardest worker I know, and I'm excited that Emmett gets to see his mama and the worker that she is.
I would say, I mean, there is a lot of things to choose from, but, recently one thing that I really appreciate is Zach's ability to see the positive side of things. I feel like we're very well balanced in that you're an optimistic and I would say a realist. So,
Glass half full, glass half empty is
realist.
what you're saying.
I'm just saying. An optimistic term is realist.
That is such a half glass empty term. That's something someone like that would say. But I get what you're saying.
Okay. So it's nice to have that encouragement when, because I will spiral a little bit here and there, but it's nice to have someone to pull you back and, in a sense, keep me grounded. But and I appreciate that, especially when things get really tough.
When things go awry.
And dedication. I don't think I've ever met anybody as dedicated as you when they put their mind to something. It's extremely annoying and upsetting, but at the same time, while there are days I want to punch you for it, I am equally as impressed and inspired
Thank you.
by it. So, anyways, no one more dedicated that I know of.
I also love her guns right here that are the size of nacho cheese cans.
Little mini ones.
So guys, we will potentially do more Q&As like this down the road, but we figured this would be a fun way for you guys to get to know just a little bit more about me and Emily. I'm sorry, you're an English teacher. Emily and I. And no, we thought this would be a fun way just to kind of sit down and get real with you guys. So we might do some more of these down the road, but this was fun and we hope you guys enjoyed it. Make sure, if you guys would, do us a huge favor, because it really does bless us. If you wouldn't mind to just subscribe to this channel and just keep up with what we're doing, mainly because I feel like God is really doing some cool things on this page right now. We got the Bless Up podcast we've been doing, as well as some of these family vlogs. And I can promise you this, the foundation of anything we do on this page, it is rooted in God. So we want to honor him in everything we do. And we just want to take as many along with the ride that want to go with us. So that is genuinely the heart behind this. And so that's why we're doing this. And if we weren't going to honor Christ, we wouldn't do it. So if you would, it would mean the world to us, and thank you in advance. Anyway, guys, we love y'all. We'll see you in the next one.
Bless up.
Deuces.